My dealings, of course, were with BOMA, the Building Owners Managers Association, and they go back to 1985 in a formal sense when I was first elected, but really before that, because one of the important things about an organisation like BOMA was that it not only provided advocacy, but it provided a forum for discussion. And these were the days before public consultation, before talking to the community, which was something we brought in after I'd been to America and seen it in action, where the council would formally go out to the community and say, what do you think? That wasn't done in those days. So BOMA provided a platform and a place where people could discuss ideas and tell us what they thought, which did reflect the ideas and the views of property owners.
I think we all went to the pub, and that's where you met the owners of large property companies who might end up being your clients, which was a target of mine, institutions rather than just individuals. So that's all we had, and when the Building Owners and Managers Association started in Queensland, it was pretty much a working bee. So all really good ideas start as working bees. There are keen people, few of them, they get a lot of burden, they got great passion and ideas, and then they build something great out of it, and that's what happened.
We were the building owners and managers. We were representing the people, in fact, who were the developers, and the product, and seeking the product we wanted to get out of the investments we were making. That had not been the case early on. I mean, we were walking around believing that somebody knew what we were doing, and the fact is we didn't. Well, I think the shop lease dispute was without any shadow about, a seminal experience as far as I and we were concerned.
Everyone knows the fight that went on between owners and small tenants and the attempts to legislate that at government level, and that required a lot of presentation behind the scenes. And I think the group who did that all believed that they were on a mission to present the true face of the industry to the politicians, and really I think 1,000% successful in doing that.
Oh look, I think taxation is probably the biggest one. At that time the government was looking at affordable housing taxes, land tax, and I think also infrastructure charges was a big one, where they, at the start of the 2000s, every council was setting their own infrastructure charges, and sort of having that formalised, I think, by the state government was a big piece.
My favourite story caused a little bit of consternation at the time, because I resolved that one of the ways to get through to politicians about the basic laws of supply and demand was to send them all a rubber banana after Cyclone Larry wiped out most of Australia's banana crops and prices went up. This didn't meet with a lot of enthusiasm from my fellow executive directors, nor from the directors of the Property Council at the time, but we did it.
Well, I think it's matured as an organisation. I mean, the Property Council's had some great presidents and CEOs over time, but for me it's been more their preparedness now to be really a central part of the debates. I mean, if we look at the leading position that Property Council took, for example, on the city deal, where they partnered early. This is, of course, the biggest city deal in the country, but right back at the start of that journey, the Property Council were engaged and wanted to be a genuine participant in helping to make something that was a concept at the time, real and deliverable, practical in terms of the way in which it was going to have an outcome on the people of this city and indeed southeast Queensland.
We ran the thing virtually out of the AMP building initially, and I used to run out of Cunnington's office on a Saturday afternoon. That was sort of how personal it really was. So there was just a bonding there that I think welded you into the organisation, in which I now feel very much a part.
Rod was not only interested in property and in the buildings in the city, but he was also very interested in the economic development of Brisbane. And in fact, I set up the first Office of Economic Development in the Brisbane City Council, which I think was the first anywhere in Australia, and Rod headed that. So he was somebody who was interested in the overall economic development of the city, and he also understood how property contributes to that.
Oh, look, I think Liz Pigeon was the one who said to me, "Stop whinging and get in here and fix it if you know so much." So Liz was probably the big reason why I got in here.
The one thing I would say about all of the people from the Property Council is you knew that you were dealing with people who were commercial, numerate, realistic, and not zealots. They were there to put a case, they were there to get an outcome, and I think when you're having conversations where people are coming from different perspectives and you have to find the middle ground, you always want to know that you're dealing with people in good faith, and I felt that we always were.
But I think importantly the organisation as a whole has become more engaged, and that's really the critical thing. As a city administrator, that's what I noticed most in the terms of the change of the Property Council. It went from purely being an advocate to a participant, and I think that's been a really important transition for the Property Council, particularly here in Queensland.
In that time, the thing that absolutely impressed me was the commitment and the calibre and the genuine interest of people in progressing the property industry in all its forms, from the built form to the careers for people to the services it served in creating a better world for all of us.
There were very few places where people could feel safe, that they could discuss and talk and disagree. And Burma provided that. Property is the lifeblood of the city.
There have been so many members of the Property Council over the years who I think have had an impact on the way that I thought about development of Queensland and the way that the government as a whole thought about it. It's hard to pick out one or two.
Being part of that transition from BOMA to the PCA was transformative in many ways. I doubt that the people who gathered to initially set up BOMA would have had any idea what the outfit would have turned into over time.
It's so important that we as the property industry have a combined and unified voice so that we can actually talk constructively to government and to councils and to investment, and I think that's probably it's a big part of the economy, and that's why it's important.
Hey guys, I think I've been a member for about 45 years. There's only that many to go, and I'll be a 51 too. I hope I'm going to be around for the 60th.
Congratulations to the Property Council on 50 years.
Happy 50th birthday, Property Council. It's quite a milestone, lots of achievements, and I hope there's many more.
I feel like I've been around it for the last 50 years, even though I'm only 56, but happy birthday, Property Council.
I've been proud to be a member of the Property Council, and I wish the next 50 years even greater success, and I'm sure when people celebrate the 100th anniversary, it'll be still a very powerful force and one which is respected as it truly deserves to be. Thank you very much.
Well, I find myself not quite wanting to sing the song, but happy birthday to the Property Council of Australia.